Hey up everybody, how are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thumbs up for the new year. So I've got 50-ish money saving tips for you because I know there's 50 there, but I'm going to go on a tangent and there'll probably be more. So I'm not going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. I'll just reel them off. See how we go. If you're new to my channel, you'll find that I'll do this quite a bit. I'll just ramble on, see how it goes, go with the flow. Now I've got them all written down, so you will see me keep looking. Bear with me. Number 1, budget. Track your spending. This is the best tip I can give you. There is good tips, so don't just do this one. But yeah, writing out that budget, tracking what you're spending is basically the frugalist Bible. You know, that's how you become frugal, by tracking your spending and doing all the budgeting. Without that, you're pretty much stuck for doing everything else. So that's the first thing you need to do. Next one, cut back. Do you actually need it? Now, many of us see things and think, oh yeah, I really want that. Do you really need it? Do you need that in your life? Now, as many of you know, I do like my Lego. So I'm the same thing. I see things, I think, I really want that. That'll go great in my collection. But when I actually think about it, I think, well, no, I don't actually need that. So the best thing you can do is actually think, you know, are you actually going to use it? Do you actually need it? And the best thing I can say to you is when you say you're ordering online or doing something like that, you put it in your basket, leave it there for a few days or a week, and if you don't actually go back to it, then get rid of it. Plus, as well, sometimes if you leave stuff in your basket, especially with Amazon, sometimes you get discount deals. So try that. Number 3, use up what you have. So many of us, me included, have gone out and bought things, especially food. I am more organised now, but I have done it in the past. Bought things, got home, gone to the fridge or freezer or cupboard. Bugger, I've already got it. And it's the same with not just food, but with other items as well. Use up everything you got. Use up all your deodorants. Use up all your smelly stuff, your toothpaste, everything. Use it all to the very last before you actually go and buy something else. Number 4, meal plan. Now, like I said before, I meal plan-ish. To a certain point where I know what I'm going to be having throughout that week, but I don't necessarily meal plan as such. But with meal planning and knowing what you're going to be having will save you money in the future, because you know exactly what you want to eat in a week, so you know what to buy when you go shopping. Number 5, shop online or look for the shopping online. Now, I do online Tesco shopping because that works best for me. Yes, I can shop at Lidl's, Aldi's, other cheap places. Tesco's for me works the best. But what works the best for me probably won't work the best for you. Everybody's situation is different. But for me, I do my online shopping, and it saves me a lot of money because I can see exactly what I'm getting. Sometimes I've cocked it up where I've ordered it and then realised it's not the right size. That's my own fault, and I do learn from these mistakes, as we all do. But even if you don't do your shopping online, have a look online first. Then when you go into the store, you can actually visualise what you're going to get, and you sort of know the prices as well. Now, going from that, check your weights. Not check my weight. Definitely don't check my weight. Check the weights on the products you're buying. Now, I've been duped on this a few times. I am learning, but sometimes I still get it wrong because it can be very confusing sometimes. When you buy, say, a tin of tuna or anything like that, have a look at the weight, because sometimes when it's cheaper for a reason, because there's less weight than the other one. Sometimes if you buy one with more weight in it and spend an extra 20 pence, which I've done before, you get twice as much. So do check those weights, because sometimes cheaper isn't always the best option. Now the next one, I've done this a few times, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have as well. Don't shop when you're hungry. You've gone into a supermarket, you're starving, you start buying all this food, you get home and you think, why the hell have I just done that? You've only done it because you're hungry. Now, filming this bit again because I've lost the footage, so I'll try and carry on. Next one is bulk buy. Now, bulk buying can be great, but you still need to check to see if it is a great idea, because some things on bulk buy aren't as cheap as buying them singular. So definitely check on that. Number 9, yellow stickers. Yellow sticker aisles are fantastic. When I do go shopping in supermarkets, I go straight down to those aisles to get the discounted stuff, because it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's going out of date that day. You can even buy more of it and put it in the freezer. Absolutely fine. Now, when you're shopping online, you don't get those sort of things. So definitely take advantage when you get discounted items. Now, again, sticking with the shopping thing, number 10, own make stuff. I buy a lot of the own brand stuff. It's absolutely fine. Some items, it is trial and error, do taste very cheap, and you definitely know the difference, but the majority of stuff is exactly the same, or sometimes even better. So my tip to you is to just try some of the cheaper stuff. See what it's like. You never know, you might like it, and it's going to save you a few quid in the long run. If you don't like it, you've just lost a little bit of money there, 20, 30 pence, whatever you buy. But don't just think because it's cheaper, it's rubbish. Some of the stuff, like I've said, is not great. So sometimes you have to go for quality instead of quantity, but have a shop around. Give it a go. Now, number 11, I think, active shopping list and organising your cupboards. This is a major thing that I've been doing past couple of years, and it does save you a lot of money. Now, the active shopping list is basically having a shopping list on your fridge or wherever you want to put it. As soon as you run out of something, you write it down. And it's just going to keep going and going and going, and then you know exactly what you've run out of. Also, organising your cupboards and keeping a list of what's in there, your cupboards, your fridge, your freezer, and keep doing the stock take on them, because then you know exactly what you're using, what you're not using, and you're not going to go to the shops and buy lots of stuff you already have or you don't need because you've still got stuff in there. That saves you a lot of money. Number 12, don't impulse buy. Yeah, impulse buying. I used to do it in the past. I'd see something, get it, sometimes instantly regret it. But as you go down this frugal path, you'll start to restrain yourself. I don't know if it's the right word. And you'll start to think, do I actually need that? Which I've already covered anyway, but I'll write it down. Also going on from that, charity shops. I love my charity shops. You could get all sorts of bargains in there. You do have to shop around, like I said before, but yeah, charity shops and discount shops, thumbs up. And also as well, going on from that, hunt for bargains, not just at those places, but in supermarkets as well, markets. Really hunt for those bargains, especially in supermarkets. Go down on the bottom shelves, because the stuff that the supermarkets want you to buy is always going to be eye line with you. So when you're walking down, you see it, you get it, you're gone. So if you look on that bottom shelf, you'll find more bargains, trust me, but you really have to hunt for them. I think I'm on 16. Cheap or free food apps. Now, I've used a lot of these in the past. Now, the food apps, if you like eating out, if you download like McDonald's, KFC, things like that, you could get like free sides or discount food on there, and they'll tell you what's cheaper. So that's a good way of doing stuff. Other apps to get free food or very cheap food, I found I've used Olio. I'll try and leave a description in the bottom there for you. I think it's worldwide now. I've had a question about this before. But Olio, you look on there and it's like, I don't know, it's like a free cycle for food and things. Now, I'll work on to free cycle in a minute, but you could go on there, say you're short of a bread loaf, you need a bread loaf. Go on there, and someone in your area, hopefully, will be giving away a bread loaf, or sharing something, or giving away tins of food, or they've bought too much, so they're giving that away, or even the supermarkets and things like Greggs and places like that, they give away discount food that's about to go out of date that day, so you can pick up a bag of food for next to nothing. So that's a good one to do. Now the other one I mentioned was Free Cycle. I don't know whether that's worldwide, but it definitely is in the UK. Now Free Cycle is free stuff. People are getting rid of stuff, they don't want to take it to the tip, and they can't get rid of it. They put it on there. It's a bit like a Facebook site thing, but it's called Free Cycle. You have a look on there. Someone's getting rid of, say, a wheelbarrow. For instance, I did get a wheelbarrow a couple of years ago. I wanted one. All it had wrong with it was a few dents, a bit rusty, and a flat tyre. I soon sorted that, no problem. And I got a wheelbarrow for nothing. Just cost me for going to get it. That's all it did. So they're good ones. And there is many more out there that I can't think off the top of my head. But Google free apps, free food apps or cheap food apps. Have a look on it. And it's not just food. Like I say, wheelbarrows. There's everything you can think of that is for free. You just really have to look for it. The next thing is, not just when you're food shopping, anywhere. We don't really do it enough in this country, and that is haggle. Now, try and haggle with people, because the worst they could say is no. You've got to give it a go. Sometimes you've got to give that gift to the gab. Sometimes I haven't got that. I can be a little bit quiet, but if you know you could probably get away with it, haggle the prices. It's worth a go. Number 20, free activities. Now, I haven't got websites to have a look for free activities, but you can find free activities to do. All you have to do is Google it, Facebook it, ask around, and there's always something to do for free. Trust me. Loads of stuff in my area to do for free. Even if it's as simple as going to the library. Sometimes you don't have to buy a library card. They have 3 days. Yeah. Number 21, just say no. And what I mean by this is, a lot of time you can come under peer pressure. You've got people around you saying, oh yeah, we'll go out and do this. Come on, let's go and do that. And if you're trying to save a bit of money, you don't really want to be doing that. And sometimes it's very hard to say no to these things, and you just go and do it, and you spend money that you didn't need to do at that point. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and do stuff, but if you know you want to save money for something, or you're a bit skint at that point, don't get yourself into debt just for going somewhere for a few hours. Just say no and say, look, we'll do it another time. Try and be strong. I'm now stronger than I used to be. I used to go, yeah, no problem, let's do it. And I used to be skint all the time. Now I just say no, and I do it when I want to do it. Number 22, cut your subscriptions. Now, I'm doing the no spend challenge at the minute, so I've cut all my subscriptions. But we'll get some back later in the year. It depends on what I want to do. But a lot of the time we get subscriptions and we forget about them. And that's how these companies make their money. So keep an eye on what subscriptions you've got, and then actually look at them and think, do I actually need this? Because I've had some in the past and not actually use them, and I've wasted so much money. So yeah, cut those subscriptions if you don't need them. And not just TV subscriptions, gym subscriptions. Obviously, I don't go to the gym, but I am doing stuff at home. But anything that requires a subscription, you don't actually use it or need it, get rid. 23. Free resources, i.e. YouTube. If you want to learn a new skill, YouTube it. You want to learn a new language, YouTube it. There's so much on here, not just on YouTube, but other platforms as well. Learn something. If you want to do a bit of DIY, not too sure how to do it, have a look on here and you can find it quite easily. Now, I'm not saying do serious stuff yourself like gas stuff and electrical wiring. No, let professionals do that. What I'm saying is, if there's something simple you think you can do, find the skill, go do it. Going on from that, let's say, do it yourself. Do you actually need someone to come out and fix the problem for you? If it's very simple and you think it's simple, check it out before you actually do it and do it yourself. If you're not confident enough to do that, then don't do it. Get the professionals in. So don't take apart your dishwasher or anything like that if you don't really know what you're doing. But if you know it's going to be a simple job and you know what it is, save yourself some cash. Do it yourself. 25. Secondhand. What have I written here? Secondhand or borrow. Do you actually need to go out and buy something for that job? Can you borrow it from a neighbour? Can you buy it secondhand? That's going to save you so much money if you're not going to use it many times. 26. Second job, stroke, side hustle. Now, I don't have a second job because I have quite a busy full-time job. I do have a side hustle where I buy and sell Lego, but that's something else. I'm not going to bore you with that. But if you can't do a second job, if you can, fantastic. That'll earn you so much more money. But if you can't do a second job, then do a little side hustle, sell things on eBay or do a bit of car booting, things like that. Have you got some sort of special skill? Sewing, mending things, woodwork, anything like that. You think you can make a little bit on the side? Do it. 28. I've put frugal, not cheap, because with being frugal, you're making your money spread out so you can afford to do more stuff and enjoy yourself more. If you was cheap, obviously, you wouldn't buy certain stuff. So you've got to find that nice balance. Now, like I've said in the previous one, sometimes buying something really cheap is not going to save you money in the future because it might break down and it not be as good. So you've got to find that fine line, that balance between quality and quantity. And yeah, if it's really cheap, it might be fine, but sometimes it's not. You might have to buy that product again, which is obviously going to cost you more money in the future. Next one, take your own food, stroke pack up. Do you need to buy food at work? Can you take your own pack ups? Packing yourself up is going to save you a lot of money because eating out can be very expensive. And not just your pack ups, if you're going to the cinema, for instance, take your own snacks or buy cheaper snacks at a very cheap shop instead of buying them there because they're so expensive, really expensive. So these little things will save you money in the long run. And number 30, if you're traveling, how about doing a carpool or walk, cycle, however you need to do this to save that bit of money. Now, I don't own a car. I don't drive. So getting to work, for me, is okay because there's plenty of people that live near me I could get a lift with. So I'm very lucky on that. If there's no one about at the time, I can always get on my bike and pedal to work or walk to work. It's not that far away. If your work is quite far away, yeah, can be an issue. But is it easier getting in the car with someone else? Paying a little bit of petrol money, obviously. Is that going to be cheaper than actually driving yourself? Number 31, grow your own. Grow your own fruit, vegetables, whatever you eat, try and grow it. Now, sometimes you haven't got the room to grow everything, but window boxes, patios, little plant pots, you can grow anything. You really can. Now, as many of you know, I've got a garden, and I try and grow as much stuff as I can. Now, I try and be sensible with my growing. I grow stuff that I can easily freeze if I don't use it all. So, potatoes, harvest the potatoes. I do a batch cook of mashed potato, put it into boxes, put it straight in the freezer. Also grow carrots, beans, all that could be chopped up, put in the freezer. I do grow tomatoes, lettuces. That's stuff that you can eat as you go on. But yeah, grow your own. It's great satisfaction growing it, and it'll save you a few quid as well. Also, if you are freezing stuff like that, or anything you buy that you're going to bulk buy, bulk cook, and you're going to freeze it, make sure your freezer's full. Now, if you're not going to do that and your freezer's starting to get empty, put some bottles of water in there, the little packing peanut things, anything in there to fill your freezer up so your freezer's not going to work harder because it's nearly empty and it's going to use more electric. So yeah, put some extra stuff in there. The next one is trade. Trade your services. I don't mean that sort of service. I mean services like if you're good at one skill and somebody else is good at another, trade. If you need something doing and they need something doing, say, I don't know, they're struggling to do the gardening and you can do gardening, go and do that. And if they could do something that you need, you could just trade. It's simple. Instead of actually going out and getting someone to do these jobs, trade them off. Now, another good way of saving money is do a no spend. As I'm doing a no spend this month, you could do a no spend week, month, which I'm doing now. Some people do a no spend year. That can be a little bit extreme, but if you can do it, fantastic. You know, you're going to save yourself a lot of money. But by doing a no spend month, I think, and a lot of the others who do this with me will agree that doing that on a January, February, whatever works best for you, could save you a bit of cash to use for a future project. 37, cut your own hair. Works for me. 38, warm yourself, not the home. Yeah. If you can't afford to warm the whole house, concentrate the heating onto you. Now, I'm not saying don't have the heating on at all because you don't want your house to get cold and damp, because that will cost you money in the future and it's not nice, is it? If you can afford to put the heating on, put the heating on. Don't be tight. Do it. But if you're really struggling and if you necessarily don't need all that heating on your house, have something that's just going to warm you. Now, if you're putting a hat on, which I've done a fair few times, have a vest on that's a self-heating one, chargeable thing. Have a Google, you'll see what I mean. Putting extra layers on, because I've known people, and I've lived with people, that will have the heating on full blast and then sit in the living room in the shorts and no socks on. No. That doesn't work. It's going to cost so much. So warm yourself up first, get all them layers on, because if you do get hot, you can take a layer off. But I do that. I have jumpers on, hats on, and I still have my heating on or my fire on, but only on low, just to heat the house through. Now, I don't have it on in the daytime because I'm at work. Don't need it. I only put it on at night time if I do need it, if it's really cold. If it's quite mild outside, obviously you don't put it on. I'll just keep my jumper on. You know, it's fine. But don't put your house at risk by not having it on all the time. You don't want that damp. Now, number 38, I've put make your own cleaning products. And now, I have done a few things in the past. with baking soda, vinegar, that sort of thing. I'm not going to tell you how to do your own products, because there is other channels on here on how to do that, and it's very simple, some of the stuff. I will be doing more, but I've only done the basic stuff for now, but that's a good way of saving a bit of money. Now, number 40, I've had to put it on here. We all know this. Not using your lights, turn them off. But I very rarely have my lights on. I've got my light on now, or else you'll not be able to see me, which probably not be a bad thing sometimes, but I've got to have it on for the camera. But usually I don't have my lights on unless I really need to see something. When I've gone out in the day, I'll turn all my sockets off, apart from obviously the fridge, freezer, and the things that do need the power. Unnecessary sockets I turn off. Lights, obviously, if you go for the LED stuff, is a lot better. Probably a little bit more expensive than buying normal bulbs, but they will save you money in the long run. Now, the light in my living room is like a 5 light thing, if you know what I mean. It's got 5 light bulbs. 3 of them aren't working, so I haven't replaced them. The light is absolutely fine, I think. The light is fine with 2, so I've left the other 3 out. So I'm saving money there because I don't need them. Now, number 41, we've all heard this, and if you haven't, please don't think that I'm vile or sick. But if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. We all know that saying, or most of us know that saying. Do you need to flush the toilet all the time? No, you don't. Now, I'm single. I'm not single because of this. I could get away with it a bit more. I don't flush the toilet all the time. I don't need to. Now, obviously, if I've been for number 2, yes, I flush it. I ain't having that sitting there. But if I've just been for a wee, yeah, I'll leave it a few times and then flush. There's no problem with it. Now, if you've got a family, it can be a little bit more difficult, but you can always reduce the flushes you do. There's even stuff you could put in your tanks to reduce the flushes you actually have. But yeah, check it out. You don't need to flush all the time. Now, going from that, when I have a shower, I have a bowl in the bottom of the shower which catches a lot of the shower water. Now, with catching that, I use that to flush the toilet with, so I'm not using the mains water. I also as well have a bowl when I'm washing up. I don't use the whole sink because you use a lot of water in your sink. I don't have a dishwasher, I just use the sink. Put the bowl in there, which reduces the capacity of the water. And then with that water, if you use an eco washing up liquid or something like that, or don't use a lot, you can use that to flush your toilets or water your plants or whatever you need to do with it. So definitely get a bowl. 43, be frugal with your products. Now, I mean, do you need to use what it says you need to use, i.e. wash powder? You don't need to use exactly what it says on there. I use a teaspoon of wash powder, absolutely fine. I don't use a lot of fabric softener, just a little bit of that, probably a teaspoon again. Toothpaste, frugal with that, use a bit. Just because it says you need to use that amount to do an activity, doesn't necessarily you need that. Same with washing up liquid. I use a tiny dribble in the wash bowl, absolutely fine. Number 44, use your appliances less. Now, I very rarely use my cooker. It's an electric cooker. The actual cooker bit itself uses a lot of electric. I do use a hobs now and again, but I tend to use a halogen cooker or my crock pot, slow cooker, however you want to use that, microwave. So with your main appliances, have a look, see what's cheaper. I mean, halogen cookers and crock pots are very cheap to run, so I use them a lot. Like I say, your oven uses a lot of electricity. So if you can get away with doing items on other appliances, do that. I've got Millie showing me a bum. I don't want your bum. It smells. I don't want it. Oh, there she is. Hi, Mill. Hi. Mwah. Right. Number 45. If it's not dirty, don't wash it. We wash so much stuff that we've only used once. No need to. I've worn a lot of clothes 2, 3, 4 times in a row because it's absolutely fine. If you're doing activities, working so often, it's going to get dirty and start to smell. But if it doesn't smell and it doesn't look dirty, it's fine. So be frugal on that. Everyone knows I like my tea. I'm British. I like my tea. Empires are built on tea. So if I'm just having the 1 cup in the morning, I have a cup of water, put that in my kettle, turn the kettle on. Takes no time at all to boil because you don't want to boil too much water that you're not going to use. Now, if you know you're going to be using a lot of hot water in the daytime for teas, coffees, whatever, use a flask. Boil the kettle up with whatever water you need. Fill your flask up, and away you go. You've got hot water for a good 8 to 12 hours of the day. Number 47, insulation. Now, the majority of homes have got insulation anyway, but certain things to help: draft excluders, curtains against your window. I've got a friend who puts bubble wrap on the windows that have got a single pane. She says that works. Mine are double glazed, I think they're okay. But anyway, you can find a draft, put some sort of insulation there, whether it's cardboard, a piece of carpet, anything, fabric. Plug those holes up, insulate them. Millie agrees. Next one is when I'm getting washed, I use soap. I don't use shower gel anymore, shampoos. I don't have the hair for shampoo anyway. But I buy soap, and I don't buy the real cheap soap because I have sensitive skin. But I buy the Dove stuff, the Dove soap, and I do buy that in bulk, and it works out 50p a bar. Now, you can get cheaper stuff that's just as good, but for me, that works, and I'm sticking with that. So 50p for a bar, and it lasts me a month. To me, that's value for money, because you can buy all these different products and you don't actually need it. And again, you're using too much plastic as well. I'm trying to cut down on my plastic waste. So with having a bar of soap, it's just in a box, and a box I can recycle, and the soap is great. You know, it gets in all the crevices. So there you go, guys. That is everything I can think of at the moment and everything that I do. Now, if I've forgotten stuff or you think I've got different ideas, put in the comments below. And what I'll do is I'll do a video later in the year with my subscribers' ideas and tips and tricks. And I'll do a whole video dedicated to you guys of what you do. Because I think that'll be a great idea of sharing our ideas. Yeah, and we'll all benefit from that. So I hope you've all stayed awake throughout this video and you're still here, because I think this is going to be a long one for me. I usually do videos about 10 minutes or so, and I think this could be 25, 30 minutes. I don't know. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Millie's gone to sleep now. She's got bored of me. So if you like what you see, guys, please subscribe. Do a massive thumbs up. It helps the channel, helps it grow, and helps me try and put out better videos for you guys. And I'll see you again next week. So thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.